Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new teen book spotlight. So for this week, we are entering week 3 of our 2020 summer reading, Oceans of Possibilities. So for our theme this week, we are taking a look at possibilities of discovery. So that means basically our theme is encompassing things to discover. And we have kind of this mishmash that doesn't seem that it would work, but I promise you, it does. We are taking a look this week at science fiction books, plus we're mixing in some nonfiction. And if you've watched enough of these book talks, you know I love nonfiction. So we have 3 science fiction titles, we have 3 nonfiction titles. There's a little bit of something for everyone, especially if you like fiction, if you like nonfiction. There's some biographies. There's a whole bunch of little things for us to discover. So let's get started with some of these amazing titles I cannot wait to share with you. And the first one is one of my new favorite reads of 2020. I could not put this one down. This is Murder Among Friends by Candace Fleming. Again, if you watch enough of these, you know I love Candace Fleming. Her newest one, amazing. So it's 1924 Chicago and the unthinkable happens. A young boy is kidnapped and he's found dead, and no one knows how this could have happened. Okay, this doesn't happen. They're in a wealthy neighborhood. This type of stuff just doesn't happen. You as the reader, though, will be along for the journey as you meet these best friends who are Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb. Now, they both come from extremely wealthy families in Chicago, like the boy who was kidnapped and murdered. And they share some similar interests, but the two of them never should have become friends. When their paths randomly cross, that's kind of like the beginning of their end, because when they get together, their relationship was combustible. When Loeb suggests to Leopold one day that he wants to murder someone and plan the perfect crime, he's not just talking about doing this. He wants to actually go and do this. So Leopold just goes along with him because that's what they do, and that's what they set off to do, plan the perfect crime and then actually commit it. It is when they are caught that their crime makes a legal impact that we still feel today, as their court case is one of the first ones ever in United States history to explore the effects of mental illness on individuals and whether or not they should be held accountable for their actions and their crimes. So part true crime story, part court law, legal drama. If you love true crime, amazing nonfiction. Again, Candace Fleming, we've talked about a number of her books. You will not put this one down. Again, one of my new favorites, loved this one. This is Murder Among Friends. Waking Romeo. So Shakespeare meets science fiction in his retelling of Romeo and Juliet. So it's 2083 in London, and it's been 2 years since Romeo and Juliet attempt to commit suicide, but they weren't successful. They're both still alive. But they also are living with some dire consequences. Juliet's an outcast for her friends and family, plus she lost the use of her left arm, and Romeo has been in a coma since, and he has not woken up for the past 2 years. During this time, though, time travel has become possible, and there are people who are coming to London in 2083 from throughout history, from both the past and the future. Juliet has chosen not to partake, especially since she is a social outcast, but things change with the arrival of the stranger named Ellis. He is from the 19th century, and he has been tasked with waking Romeo. And this is something that he desperately has to do because he's going to gain something that he needs in order to ensure his and his family's survival. So this is a task he has to accomplish. That's going to be easier said than done, though, as there are forces working against both he and Juliet, and there may be something or someone that will need to be conquered in order if they are going to be successful. I will tell you this, the storyline is intricate and can be a little bit confusing at times, but if you want a unique look at a Shakespeare classic, this is one you would like to read. This is Waking Romeo. Violet and Daisy. So sisters Violet and Daisy were born in 1908 England, but they were unique in that they were born as conjoined twins. That meant that they weren't two separate individuals. Their bodies were fused together at their tailbone, so they were constantly stuck together. Their mother, when she saw them when they were born, she was horrified. She didn't want to have them. So they were then adopted by this woman who decided to take advantage of their situation. And before they knew it, even as infants, even as babies, they were then put on display for people to look at for a fee. This starts their life in which they are featured in carnivals, fairs, exhibitions throughout England and Australia, and then they eventually make their way to the United States, where they end up going on what's the early known form of Broadway called vaudeville. They end up becoming a vaudeville act, and they actually do become pretty financially successful and superstars. Like, they are even like cast in movies. Like, that's how popular they get. Now, their lives are filled with ups and downs. Sometimes they were treated fairly, with respect, and at other points, they were beaten and abused. Violet and Daisy have an inspirational story, though, especially when they decide to take their own financial freedom into their own hands. But it's one that is eye-opening into the time of this history when this is going on, and how others were treated, like others who were different, how they were treated compared to others that weren't different. Another aspect of this is unique is their relationship. Keep in mind, they were stuck together. Imagine if you were stuck together with a sibling forever in everything that you do. So you go through not only their lives as vaudeville performers and being in exhibitions and on display, but also how their lives were with their relationships with others and with one another. This amazing biography will leave you questioning and wondering as you weave through so many different topics. Highly recommend it. This is by Sarah Miller, who is an amazing nonfiction author as well. The Borden Murders is another awesome one by her that I highly recommend, that takes a look at the Lizzie Borden murders. So amazing. Violet and Daisy. Aurora Rising. So it's the year 2380, and when you graduate from Aurora Academy, you are then sent as part of a squad on various missions. Now, Tyler Jones is at the top of his class, meaning that he's going to be able to pick his squad first. So he will have the best of the best. The evening of the draft, though, he finds and rescues a girl who's been in this Cairo, like this Cairo sleep phase for the past 220 years. And because of this unplanned event, like he wasn't planning on going out and finding her, he ends up missing his draft. And then he is stuck with everyone who has not been chosen, the misfits. When the squad heads out on their first mission, the girl he rescued, whose name is Aurora, hides on their ship as a stowaway. And there are people who are hunting her. They want to find her. They want to capture her. And all of a sudden, Tyler and the rest of his misfit squad, they find themselves in danger that they weren't even planning, expecting, none of that. It will be up to the 7 people on board to save her while trying to complete their mission. Now, this is the first in a series. You will want to check out the second title, because there is a cliffhanger. You will want to know what happens next after it. The third one has recently come out. This is Aurora Rising. American Kingpin. Amazing. Love this non-fiction work. One of my favorite reads. The story is one of those that is so over the top. You don't think it's happening, but I promise you, it's all true. So back in 2011, there's this guy named Ross Ulbricht. He launches a website on what's known as the dark web. And the point of this website he launches is for it to be this ultimate free market, kind of like an Amazon, only for everything that Amazon and like the government and entities won't allow you to sell and trade and stuff. So this is the place where anyone can sell anything without any restrictions, such as, there's drugs, there's weapons, there's forged passports, there's counterfeit money, there's even organs being sold on this website on the dark web. This website quickly grows into a $1.2 billion business. And it doesn't take long for government officials to catch on, and then they start this massive manhunt for Ross. But the feds have no idea where to look for him, because this, again, is all done online. And Ross decides it's going to be time for him to disappear, and then it becomes a race against time for both parties. I could not put this one down. I will tell you one thing I appreciate about this one is public libraries plays a huge role in this. Like, when you get, I don't want to spoil it, but They do. Highly recommend this one if you love one that will keep you turning the page, wanting to know what's happening. We'll have you researching more after American Kingpin. And our last one for this week is The Apocalypse of Alina Mendoza. So Alina has been gossiped about for her entire 16 years on Earth, since she has been scientifically proven to be from a virgin birth. She also has the ability to heal people. But when she does heal someone, the result is that someone else on the planet disappears. When she heals her crush at school, the rumors get even more intense, and then she starts to hear inanimate objects talking to her. And they're telling her to heal as many people as she possibly can, but that would also mean that more people would disappear from Earth. And then people kind of start to wonder, is Alina bringing the start of the apocalypse? If you like your science fiction with some mystery and some heavy themes and some theology debates, be sure to explore this one. Sean David Hutchinson does not fail. The Apocalypse of Alina Mendoza. So these are just 6 of the books we have here at the library that explore the possibilities of discovery. So I encourage you to come out, check out one of these, or we have tons of other science fiction and nonfiction titles that we highly recommend and will help you find. Make sure you come on out, because as part of our summer reading, this is our new batch for the week, week 3, batch 3, possibilities of discovery. By watching this book talk, activity number 1 is done. Read one of these or something like it. That's another activity. Do one more thing, then you get your badge for the week. You get your virtual prizes. You get to enter in for the virtual prizes. You get to come and pick out some free stuff. So I encourage you, log on to Beanstack, sign up if you haven't. Let us know if you have any questions. I hope you tune back next week. We have our next installment, week 4 of our summer reading themes. So make sure you tune back in, and I hope you have an amazing week.